friends, Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. Today, I want to take you through an exercise that helped out one of my students in getting down her split time same direction movements in wall plane. But before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Fire Mecha, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all of these awesome companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I have down in the description of this video. And special thanks to the non-business friends of the channel, Lain Mochinsky and Pekha Pekkonen. Thank you both so much for supporting my channel, my work, and my mission. So most of us, when we first learn how to do split time same direction at the beginning of our flow journey, we're learning it in a wheel plane place. That is, we are learning it in this position where the two poi are spinning at our sides like wagon wheels, and it's not hard to see why. If we try to do this from a wall plane place, that is a place where both of the poi are on the same side of our body, like a wall in front of us, 9 times out of 10, we're going to find ourselves in a position where they're starting to run into each other or one of our body parts. It takes learning some additional stuff, including a skill that I refer to as the lanes of poi, in order to make this stable. Now, I had a student this past week who was really struggling with this, and I came up with an exercise for her that I think might be useful for many of you all out there as well. Now, if all of this is sounding like Greek to you, don't worry, I have plenty of tutorials both on timing and direction as well as the lanes of poi that I will go ahead and link to down in the description as well as up in the cards. But if these things are sounding familiar and like something that you are wrestling with too, let me show you some answers as to how to get there. So here's how this works. When we're first learning split time same direction, we're usually kind of counting it off in our heads like a 1-2, 1-2 kind of pace, and then bringing it into wall plane, we have to keep up that same pace while at the same time keeping the poise planes clear of each other. It's a lot to think about, right? But what if I told you there was a way that you could take some of that knowledge from your split time same direction spinning in wheel plane and apply it to your wall plane position too? So to start off here, we're going to need to talk a little bit about what I like to call the lanes of poi. That is, when we're spinning in wheel plane here, we have our poi separated to either side of our body. There is at least a shoulder's width between them, so they're not likely to tangle into each other. Whereas when we switch into spinning them in wall plane here, the only way that we can do this is if we physically keep some distance between these planes with our arms. So rather than having our hands out an even distance from the front of our body like we normally might, we need to begin training ourselves to keep one hand further out and one hand further back. That way, when our audience sees this from the front, we can keep the planes separate. And as far as the audience is concerned, there's really not that big a difference. So we're going to need to drill 2 positions to start to get this down. The first one is going to involve us turning to our left and bend your elbows at a 90-degree angle so your hands are sticking straight out in front of you. Now, I want you to take your left arm and move it slightly forward so that your elbow is clearing your shoulder. Now, you're going to take your left arm and move it slightly backwards so that the elbow is just slightly behind your shoulder. This should create a position where your left hand is just a few inches in front of your right, but when viewed from the front, it looks as though they're basically at the same distance. By the same token, we also want to try turning to our right, and again, we're going to bend our elbows at a right-hand angle, and I'm going to stick my right arm just slightly forward so that the elbow clears the shoulder, and my left arm is going to go slightly back so that my elbow is just behind my shoulder. Once again, I'm in a position where I have one hand, this time my right, several inches in front of my left, and when I turn to face the audience, they look more or less like they're at the same depth. So what does this do for us? It creates positions in which we can have the two poi spinning in the same plane, but because they have a couple inches between those planes, they're not likely to run into each other, whether it happens to be over at your right side or it happens to be over at your left side. Okay, so how do we make this work with what we know in wheel plane? First and foremost, I want you to go ahead and shorten up the poi so that they're about elbow length. You can do this by wrapping the poi around your hands or just gripping the tethers a little bit further up. Either way though, I want you to get that split time feeling going in wheel plane here to start with. Now, I want you to go ahead and practice having your right hand cross back and forth across you as you keep the left hand spinning on your left hand side. As you're doing this, I want you to pause your right hand over at your left hand side here. Now, for all intents and purposes, you're still in this wheel plane place, but you've now frozen your right hand over where it's going to be if it were to be in wall plane. And wouldn't you just know it, if you want to then, you can then turn your entire body to face the poi, and you're now spinning in split time same direction in wall plane. Cool, and by the same token, we can start crossing that left hand poi back and forth, back and forth, back and forth as the right hand is just hovering over on the right hand side, and stop it over on the right hand side here as though almost it were spinning in buzzsaw plane. Try and keep the two going in split time same direction, and then turn your entire body to face your right hand poi, and look at that. You now have split time same direction working with your right hand forward. So I want you to practice going back and forth like this and really build this up step by step. First, think that you're going to try and work to do 10 beats back and forth with this right hand before you make the right hand poi stop over at the left hand side here. And again, try and keep this stable with the right hand poi basically in a buzzsaw plane and the left hand poi going out in wheel plane still for 10 beats in itself. When both of these feel comfortable, then it's time to work on turning your entire body over to putting these poi in wall plane. So I hope this exercise worked for you. If it did, please post a video of yourself doing it to Instagram or TikTok and tag me in it. I would love to see your hard work. If you got anything out of this video, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to help other people find it and to help my channel grow. This video would not be possible if not for the wonderful support of all of these lovely people right here. These are my Flow patrons over on Patreon. They and the people listed down in the description help to make this video and all the videos on this channel possible. Thank you one and all for your very, very generous support. And if you out there watching are not currently a supporter but would like to become one, you can do that by heading on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and signing up. There you can get early access to all of my content, a whole host of other awesome rewards, and even better, you'll be helping me out in my mission to bring poi spinning and flow arts to the whole wide world. So go check that out, please and thank you. If you'd like to check out some of my other beginner poi lessons, I will include a link to a playlist of them down in the description as well as up here on screen if you are watching on YouTube. Also, the YouTube algorithm thinks that you might like this top video here based upon your past viewing habits, so maybe give that a look as well. Thanks so much for watching, make sure to flow today, and I'll see you with a new video real soon. Peace.